Welcome to Member Jungle, my name's Lee. This video we're going to cover form building. There are 3 areas in your Member Jungle system that you can build forms. 1 within your membership levels where you can set up your form that members will sign up and renew with. 2 within the events, so you can collect whatever information per event you want. And also just custom forms that you might want to set up in your site for custom contact forms or even for if you're wanting to collect survey information.
Now we're going to look at custom building forms. So how you can create forms, add all different form field types and collect all the information that you want to collect. There are 3 areas that you can custom create your forms. 1 is on membership for all your different membership levels, so that when a member signs up or renews, they'll be the fields that they actually have to complete at that time and you can choose if they're required or not. The second one is for ticketed events. So it's the same form builder, but when you're wanting to collect all different information, so for example, the other names of different people who are attending, or even if the person's a vegetarian or has different meal requirements, you can custom build your form for all your events that are ticketed. And thirdly, you can just create custom forms using Power Data, which again has the same form builder. The first one we're going to look at is under membership. So if you go to membership levels, list levels, you'll see these are my 4 membership levels that are available on my site. So if I click on form fields, I'll be able to see all the different fields that are currently available for my members to complete. Now for events and for membership, account creation is a prerequisite. It is required, they do need to create an account and that can't be changed. You can actually alter and we'll be adding different features where you can choose or let us know if you want to collect date of birth or gender under a person's account. Now you have control of how these fields are situated, where you want them to be by using a drag and drop feature. You can move them around to get them where you want. You can also decide if they're required or not. So if I edit here, I can actually choose if this field is required. Now let's just go step by step through all the different field types. To add a new field, click up the top here on the Add Field icon. You'll see there's a full list of all the different field options. Now these aren't going to be available in all of the different membership types, but membership is the one where you have the most options, so that's why I thought I'd start here. Admin notes. Now admin notes, you can give yourself a field label. You can decide if it's required or not. Now when I add this field, an admin notes field is a special type of field that is available only to administrators. So you can add this to everyone's form, but only you as an administrator can see it. So when you come in to view their membership data, you can come in and actually put notes in there that you've verified their application or that you've seen they're working with Children Check or something that's available that you need to see and collect against that person. However, you don't want them to be able to actually fill out or complete or even see in their membership form. So that's an admin notes field. Then you have CAPTCHA. Now CAPTCHA is actually just a spam filter. So when you go onto one of those forms and you can see at the bottom it says, "Are you human?" And every now and then if there's anything that's deemed to be suspicious, it'll ask you to say whether or not you can see any bridges or shop fronts. So that is actually a plugin that will stop you getting too much spam throughout your application process and through your forms. For these forms, when they're already going through a full process, it's not as important, but I would recommend adding CAPTCHA to any custom forms that you're just having live on your public website. So next we're going to look at checkboxes. Checkboxes are where you ask someone a question and you're allowing them to give you multiple answers. So for example, it would be, what colours do you like? So now we're going down and we're going to give field options. So these work for a couple of different things. So I think your radio buttons are the same. So you can actually add all the options that you're going to allow them to select. So let's say red, blue, green, yellow, and purple. Now I can't edit any of these, so if I do get any wrong, so I've missed a capital, I have to delete them and re-add them. However, I can reorder, so I can then put that back up to where I wanted it to be. So once I've got all my options ready, I just click Add Field. Now with all of these fields, it will appear automatically at the bottom of the list, and I will need to drag and drop that up to where I want it to be. Okay. Now with this as well, just be aware that I'll show you from the front end, they can select multiple answers. So if you're wanting them to only be able to select one, you will need to use a select box or a radio button. So I'm just going to go in here and decide that I don't want to keep some of these options and I'm going to delete yellow and purple. Okay, now I wanted to show you a select box. So if you click Add Field and you clicked in here, you have a select box. So again, you have the same field options. Okay, so I'll show you a select box and then I can show you from the front end how that's going to look. See, it's going to appear as a drop-down box like this on the front end as well. So I can, with these ones, only select one answer, whereas you can see I can select multiple here. Okay, next we have a date field. So again, this is just where you're going to require them to enter a date. So you can actually have a date of registration or insurance. Oops. Then it will actually choose and make sure that they format that correctly. An email address. This is when you're wanting them to collect an additional email address outside their account creation. All it's going to do is verify that it is in the format of a correct email address so that you don't need to do any verification. Okay. External member ID is actually a special field, and I'm going to jump across and show you something in site details. If you're using a different system, or if you need to have a different member number or a different ID because you link two systems together, you can store an external member ID. Now this can be called something that you choose, and if we're going to jump across here now, under dashboard, under site details, you have down here what's called an external system ID label. So if you want to call this a particular thing that they need to know, so it might be an external number, you can actually change the name here, and then if you add it to the form, they can actually complete that as part of their application form, and it will get stored against their demographic details. So when you do their general overview, you'll be able to see that. It will be stored with their first name, last name, and their normal Member Jungle member number. Okay, so next we have a file upload. So if you want them to be able to upload a file as part of their application, you can choose this. They will then get an upload field and they'll be able to complete and upload files to you as part of their application process. Might be certification or proof of insurance. HTML content, now that's if you want to actually type. So if you've got any terms, conditions, if you want to actually add more information or more description or descriptive text about the particular field underneath, you can certainly use that field. I've used that down the bottom here at the moment already for please accept my terms and conditions. So I've actually got some text there. So that way I can give them a little bit more information or use that as a long text field. Okay, now we also have a horizontal line. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to put a line in your form, it's going to do exactly that. It's just a line. It's then going to mean, and I'll show you from the front end, that it's going to help divide your page. An image upload, similar to your file upload, this is where you can actually allow members to upload a particular file or a particular image. It must be a JPG or PNG. You can choose if it's required. And then come down here and they'll be able to upload their file. We have a member's email. So a little bit different. This is a member email. It's stored against the member's address. So it will actually collect the same information here as your email address. It's probably not necessary in the membership form because we are already collecting it. You can see I've got a member mobile number and a member phone, member physical address, member postal address. So these are fields that are going to already have the requirements and are going to go straight against the member's account and the demographic details. So you can add these different types of fields to collect what information you want. Now I've actually already got in here in my form, I've already got a member's postal address, and if I click on here, you'll see the actual field type is member postal address, and then I give it a label. You'll see I've already got mobile and I've already got phone. So that is going to go straight against the member's demographic details that are actually the same across all their accounts. You can collect work address or different information like that as well, but that's not going to be the same types of field. You'd have to create those as different ones because they're not going to be against the member's demographic information. A numeric input is only if that requires something, so number of children. Now that's going to only allow people to input a numeric number, okay? So if you try to put something in there, it won't even let you type. So just to be mindful, it has to be a numeric only value that goes into that field. Now you just have a standard phone number here, so a little bit different to member phone. You can actually add that different type of field. you can do a plain text memo field. So if you want to collect sort of comments or feedbacks or suggestions, that's the best type of field for that one. Now we're on to the last couple. We have a radio button. So a radio button is a little bit different to a checkbox, and I'll show you on the front end in a second. So this is again when you're wanting them to select between different options. So I'm going to again just put what size shoe are you? Oops. Aim a size 8, size 10, size 9, and size 11. Okay, I'll show you what a radio button does, but again, it's going to just allow your member to select between a range of options. We have a section heading, again, similar to your horizontal line. It's just going to allow you to separate your page nicer. And I already have, that was a warning, I'm not sure if you saw that then. This field label is already used in your form, please use a different label. So I already have that, but I'm going to put it in there for now. This is obviously just a demo, but I must have terms and conditions or a field named terms and conditions somewhere else here. It might be in a different form as well, because I do have a lot of different forms on my website, so it might be that I've got it in another one, so then if I'm trying to do a full export, that field can't have the same name in two different forms. Okay, text import field. This is your main field, and this is the one that it will actually default through. This is if you want to collect anything that's just a straight field that they're going to type in. So for example, what is your partner's name? So you see with the plain text field, when I go in to edit that here, it actually had me a different option. It was placeholder text. So placeholder text is going to show when they actually type, and I'll show you from the front end so that you can give them a more description of what you actually want in that field type. Okay, we have a time field, so fairly self-explanatory, but if you need to collect anything that's related to time. And finally, a yes and no radio button. So look, we've just made it a bit easier. If you just want yes or no as a radio button, you can just add this, and basically it's for a yes and a question. Okay, let's have a quick look at a couple of the other features within here before we go and look at this from the front end. This is going to collapse everything. It's not going to make a huge difference, but if you have a large form and you don't really want to see all the different fields within it, you can just collapse. This one is going to deactivate the field. So if I deactivate it, it will not be available on the front end anymore. It means that I'm not going to lose any data, and I will still have all the information in those fields still accessible, but I can deactivate that field. I can go in and edit, and I can obviously delete. Now if I delete a field, then I am going to lose all the data that was stored in there. It is gone. So just be mindful of that. That won't be the case if it's a member data field that's stored already against the member. So if it's something like postal address, you can delete it from your form and it will still be stored against the member. Okay, now let's go and have a look at my application form from the front end. Okay, so now we're back and actually looking at the front end. Now because I'm logged in, it's populating my data. So if you're an administrator, do be careful of that you're not processing anything. So I'm going to log out and look at this form from the other perspective. So again, join now and register. Okay, so now we're on a blank sign up form, and you can see here the account creation fields are stored at the top. There's a login button, so it is going to prompt me to log in. If I click to log in, I'm going to have to enter my username and password, and all the details that are stored against my membership account are automatically going to populate. But let's just look at it from a new member's perspective. You can see here, these are all the demographic and account details that we mentioned before. This is a select box, so I'll drop down for gender, that'll be stored against my account. This is an example of those checkboxes we talked about, so I can select multiple options. Now, I'm not happy with this, and I'm actually going to go back and change it and show you, but I've added both of these different physical address and postal address, but I haven't given them any headings. So I'm going to go and show you how we can actually make that look a little bit nicer as well. But this is my physical address and this is my postal address. I obviously know that because I set them up. This is my heading here, so you can see I have a heading, and that was my HTML content where I've put more description and more details in. My mobile number and phone probably should be stored a little bit higher above. Example of a date field, example of an additional email address, how members can actually upload images directly through. Numeric value field that we talked about, the plain text memo field, so where I can actually type a lot more information in here. So if you're wanting sort of more detailed answers, a time field, again the radio button, so a little bit different. I can only select one option unlike the select boxes or the check boxes up the top. This is your plain text field, the one that I said you'd most commonly use, and this is if you choose to use placeholder text. So you can see here I do need to delete that if I want to keep typing. You've then got a time of application. Oh, I apologise, we've got 2 time fields in here, I missed that. And finally we've got the yes, no radio button. So they're all your different options. I'm just going to go back now and actually clean it up and make it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so we're back. Now I've made some changes to my form. You can see I've just tidied it up, added a physical address heading, put postal address and made this one not required, so you can see this is required because I really don't need to collect it. I've then got some additional information here, so mobile phone, email, again I put that up there. You can see the additional information fields that I've stored here, and I moved my terms and conditions down to the bottom with my HTML field and my yes no radio button. So now my membership form's ready to go. Okay, so now we're just going to quickly look at event creation forms where you can find them, and also custom building normal Power Data forms. Apart from having limited field choices, so some of them obviously don't work in the different areas, they are the same as far as how you can create them. So we'll just now skip through to modules and to events, and let's have a look at your forms. Now you do need to go into an event. It does need to have ticketing. So I'm just going to go into an event that hasn't previously had, so I can show you how the form icon doesn't appear till later. So if we go into here and you go to registration and you'll say online registration, do you want to accept online payments? Yes. So you see then that gives me a ticketing option. Now, because this actually hasn't been created as far as its ticketing yet, I do need to click save. Once I click save, I will get an additional form icon. So if you've already created this form and you're just coming back and editing it, that form tab will be there. However, if it's the first time you've been in here and you've just switched to taking ticketing, save your event and then you will see this form. Now, I'm not going to go through it in too much detail because we have already covered it, but you can now see there's my basic account creation, and then I can custom build my form from here. There's not as many options, but you can see there are still a lot. And now lastly, we're going to look at Power Data forms. So this is how you can just custom create any other forms on your website, add them to a page and where they're going to sit. So under modules, you need to go to Power Data forms. You'll see here, I've got 3 Power Data forms here that I've actually created, and I've got an example of a custom form. So to add a new form, I would just click over here on the far left. I give it a name. Okay, and then I'm just going to build it. So you can see I don't have all those member fields that I did before, but I do have a lot of information. So for an address or for their name, I just need to do them as this, your name. I add all the fields I want to in here. Okay, so once I'm happy with my form, I can go and re-edit the name here if I want to. So I can click on edit and I can rename my form. I can keep adding forms Again, you can see I can make them required, non-required. Now, when I go through, I can go to my forms list and you can see I have my new form here ready to go. If I click on data collection, you can see no one's actually submitted my form, so there is no information yet available. Now we're going to go onto a page and we're going to add this new form. Okay, so I'm now going to add this to my plain page content. Okay, so now if you click on edit, all you need to do to put that new form on your page is scroll down to the area where it says module name. You'll see now my new survey form exists there. So I now click on that and click publish. You'll see if I now click on here, it's changed icon and it's now appearing as a module page. If I click on my page, I'll see my form. Now, I'm going to submit this as well. Now, what's going to happen automatically with the form submission? It is going to be emailed straight through to the person who's stored in site details. If you do need that person changed, please just flick a support request through and we can have them sent to individual people. It's going to send an email through to me to tell me that that has been raised, and it's going to send me through all the details of that being raised as well. Okay, now I'm just going to show you, if you click on modules now, you'll also see there is my survey form listed here. So if I click on that, it's going to take me directly through to my form submission. I can see all my forms. I can filter them on from date and to date. I can actually sort by different fields here, and if there was more information, I can click on details and see all the details. So this is all now available. I can delete this form from here. It is able to be deleted and I can clear them all and I can export them to CSV. So also I can go through to Power Data Forms as the module and I'll be able to see my survey form from here, and I can see my data collection this way as well. This will also give me a count so I can see that I've had one. I'm also just going to show you how you can add the Power Data Form dash widget to your dashboard. So if you click on dashboard and come up here, if you want to see what form submissions are coming in, you can go add widget, Power Data Forms, Power Data Submissions Report, and click add widget. Now the same with your dashboard, you can configure this so it can be what you want to see when you come in. If you click on the cog, you'll be able to select which type of form. So you can see I've got lots of event forms as well. I want my survey form here. I want 10 items and I want it to be medium width. So when I click save, it's going to show all the form submissions. So the first thing I see when I come to my dashboard is how many people have actually submitted form submissions on that recently.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like more information and step-by-step instructions, or even to check out more videos, please visit our help website at help.memberjungle.com. If you can't find what you're looking for there and still have questions, you can raise a support request directly from there and someone from our service team will get back to you.